favorite in Power Zone is Matt Wilpers, 100% all day, every day. With all due respect to the others, I've taken all the other instructors and their Power Zone classes. He's just my guy. I love his temperament. I love his education. I just feel supported. I really do. It's kind of an emotional connection that I have with him. I love it. And he keeps me coming back. In terms of other instructors, Andy Spear is my guy. He has changed my body in terms of strength. Total Strength 1, Total Strength 2. I can't say enough great things about them. I love those programs. I love the stretching components before and after. His personality. I love a big personality. I love the big Cody. I love the big Andy. I love Alex Toussaint. I love the big personality. And Andy just brings it. And he's a goofball and he doesn't care. And he doesn't take himself seriously, but his form is perfect. His body's inspiring. His music's great. So yeah, he's my guy.
It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 285. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hello.
Hello.
So I guess we should say we're recording early this week. So
thank you.
If anything crazy happens between now and tomorrow afternoon, we would have missed it anyway if it happened on Thursday. But
well, yeah, that's true. But things do often happen on Wednesday afternoon, so you never know.
For sure. So, but we should say we have to record early because we need to go to Jeff City, which is about 2 hours from where we live, for your grandfather's funeral.
Yes, we do.
So, but he was 90.
He was 90, and I am so happy that he had such a very long life, and I appreciate all the well wishes. I know that I'm just being greedy. I want more. But he just always made me feel special.
Well, sure.
It's my grandpa.
That's what they do.
And really glad we got to see him a couple weeks ago. I'm glad that we took the day and drove down there on that Friday. And it's gonna be tough saying goodbye, but life goes on.
Yeah. So also, I thought it was very nice. Out of the blue, Peloton sent you flowers.
Yeah. Very, very nice. Nice. It was a huge bouquet. Like it was like in these 3 pieces. It was a whole thing to put together, but it was very pretty and very much appreciated that they saw that, because it's not like I posted that in the OPP or something. So
yeah,
it was very thoughtful and kind of them to send. So
so thank you very much, and a nice card. So that was very kind of them. So so anyway, on a lighter note, we should say that you are the proud owner of a rower.
I am.
I say you because I'm not.
Yeah, it'll be another piece of equipment that you will never try. But yes, I was a little anxious because Monday the end of my window was nigh, and I had not heard. They say that they call like a half hour before, and
you were all in a panic.
I wouldn't say panic. I was just anxious and in
a panicky kind of way.
Well, I had to go to an appointment. Anyway, the point being is...
You were having tread flashbacks.
I was. But it showed up and 20 minutes before the window closed. And the drivers were super nice, super knowledgeable. And it's really interesting because this particular piece of equipment comes in 3 boxes. So you've got a box where the base is that holds like the monitor up.
Okay.
And then you've got a piece that is like a long piece for the long bar, and the slider the seat that you slide back and forth on.
Right.
And then
does it have a fancy name, or is it actually just called the slider?
Yeah, ask some of these fancy rowing people because
there's probably a rowing person out there right now.
I will probably say it wrong even if I said it. So I'd be all like, it's a bow or it's a bow. And I'd be saying it all wrong, whatever it was. And then the other piece, the third piece was the monitor. And so really all they had to do was connect the piece with the seat on it to the part that holds up the monitor.
Yeah.
And then put the monitor on. And the monitor took the longest. And they were done very quickly. And then I was like, hold on. I need to actually make sure it works before you leave. Sorry. So then I made them wait while I downloaded like 3 sets of updates. And I felt really, really bad. But I have, as I told them, like, hey, if you guys leave, it's too late. I'm not going to get it fixed.
Right.
So we're making sure this works before you leave. They also were very kind and moved all the boxes outside without me asking. I know they're always supposed to do that, but they don't always do that.
Yeah.
And it was great. So, of course, I immediately had to take a 10-minute class, which I did. And I loved it. And it's been perfect. It's been absolutely a joy.
You said that on your Apple Watch, the classes were coming up as other.
Yeah, they don't say row. I don't know if that'll change at some point, but for now it just says other, which is a little sad for me because I like seeing all my different little things. It's no big deal. Like I realize in the whole grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. But the more important thing is the Apple Watch instantly connected. So that was nice because there's been, a long time that we didn't have Apple Watch connecting to all of the Peloton equipment. Yeah. So hopefully that'll get changed in the future where it says it's a row class. And for those of you who have asked, I have no idea. Is it called a rowing class? Is it called a row class? I don't know. I'm going to row. That's what I'm going to call it.
I think it comes down to what people kind of collectively start to call it, and then that will be what it gets called.
It's going to be a row for me. We'll see if that catches on or stays if other people agree. And then I also want to talk about the fact that lots of people ask, like, what are the dimensions of our room? I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. And honestly,
the size of a room.
This has been a really, really rough week, so I was not taking the time to measure that. I will tell you this, though. I do know that where the rower is from the back wall to where the end of the rower is, like that comes out to like 9 feet. The rower itself is only 8 feet, but we had allotted 9 feet because we didn't want it to be all the way up against the wall.
Right.
And then the rower itself it's like 7'10", 7 feet 10 inches or 7 feet 11 inches. And so my ceiling is not quite 8 inches or 8 feet. It's like just under. I didn't even bother having them like put in or ask them how to. Yeah. They didn't know how to install it. So I would have had to have done it anyway.
I thought it said that they wouldn't do it for you anyway.
No, I would have had to have done it.
Yeah,
and I don't feel the need of where it is. Like it's just not necessary for us.
Right. With the location we chose, we're never really going to have to fold it up. By we, of course, I mean you. And but so it was just like, why even worry about it?
Yeah, so. I thought it was funny because the delivery driver's like, what are you talking about? I was like, this thing, it's a wall mount. It's a wall mount. And they were like, what? And I showed the guy and he was like, what? That's amazing. He had no idea what I was talking about. So, yeah, they don't put those in for you. They, like I said, they do remove the trash. They do, if you make them stay long enough to make sure it's working. They had already delivered 6 rowers that day. They had 4 more to go. All of them were in this neighborhood, like close by. That's what they told me.
Interesting.
Let's see, what else people have asked. You can high five. It's not really that hard. Like I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it is. You just like hold on with one hand and like pop up and hit the high five button. It's fine. And I will also say I didn't really, when I tested this out in the store, I didn't really understand the calibration aspect that they made me go through. But from what I can tell, you calibrate per like profile on your actual rowing, like your profile for Peloton on the rower. So each person that's in your home doing it can have a different calibration. And they do that because there's sensors in the seat and in the handle. That's according to what I read. And so it can tell where you are on the rower when you do what they call the catch position and the finish position. And that's what they're calibrating it to, because everybody's a little bit different. Of course, you know, some people have a longer torso, some people have a shorter torso, et cetera, et cetera. So it can be calibrated to everybody individually. I thought that the calibration process at home went more smoothly because I feel like at the store it was a little rushed. Like we had to squeeze in between people.
Right.
It was not the store's fault. I want to be very clear about that. It was just they were trying to accommodate a lot of people.
Right.
And at home, I felt like I got a much higher like form score because of it, because it recognized where I was on the machine better since it took more time to do the calibration. And so like the very first time I went through it was like I got a 79%, which is pretty high out of 100.
Yeah.
Being a person who's never rode, I thought that was pretty amazing. I've just used a rower here and there.
When one of the kids brings home a 79%, you don't say, well, that's actually pretty high out of 100.
Well, given that like when I did it in the store, I think it was like a 48%. Like it was really low. And then when I tried a class today, I did a 15-minute class with Katie, and I did that with her like before I did my run as kind of a warm-up. And I got 88% on my form. I was really excited because like it improved so much, and I think that it improved so much so quickly because I did the drills classes yesterday and understanding those drills. For people who are like, how do I set this up? It's super, super easy to do. They walk you through it whenever you do the calibration. And there's a place where you can go in and set your paces based on how experienced with rowing that you are. So I think there's like 7 different kind of estimates of where you can be for your paces. And since I had actually used a rower before, it suggested that I start with a 2 or a 3 to be able to start off my paces. And I started with a 2 and I actually felt it was too slow. So today I moved up to a 3 and that felt more comfortable for me. And I also really liked that the form feedback, like I'm quickly learning from it, like very quickly. I can tell that like, it really is pushing off with your legs while your back is still straight. Whereas my inclination, my natural inclination is to lean back as I go back. And it wants you to stay upright as you go back. So it's neat to see that I'm very quickly getting better at that because I've only done 3 classes so far. Also, I've taken a class with Matt, I've taken a class with Katie, and I've taken a class with Alex. So I look forward to taking classes with the other instructors. All of the classes are exactly what you would expect from Peloton. Like they are awesome. They are fun. I definitely like the intervals on the rower. They are fun, like legit fun, because it's not super impactful. Like whenever I run, like it doesn't wear me out like a sprint does on the tread whenever I'm running. Okay. And so like I could go all out on the rower, and yeah, I'm definitely getting a workout. I'm getting my heart rate up, but it's not like completely exhausting. Like I feel dead after doing sprints whenever I run on the treadmill, and this is not like that. So I look forward to doing more very much. Overall, the delivery itself was completely flawless. Yay, Peloton. For all of you out there who have had bad experiences with XPO, I really do empathize with you. I have had 6 machines that have been delivered via XPO, or now RXO is what they're calling it now. And I have had 0 issues. I've been so lucky, and I hope that streak continues, and I hope that everybody out there has a good experience as well. I have seen so many people today. A huge new batch got scheduled today. Yeah. Lots of people are up on the list for next week, including #TheFred. And Fred and Leslie will be getting theirs next week, so that is pretty fun. But yeah, lots of people are getting their rowers next week. So
if you've already got a rower, take some classes now while you can still see yourself high on the leaderboard.
Yeah. You know what? That's really funny you say that, because 135 people had taken the class that I took this morning, and I was number 12. I never get to be high on the leaderboard, like ever. So I'm enjoying my moment. It will be over next week.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Also, I know this is a long open for the show.
It is.
But we should also, just a little interesting thing we saw while we were in Atlanta over the weekend. My son was auditioning for theater programs at various colleges, and you could go there and hit like 60 schools at once. And I think he got callbacks from 58 of them or something.
A lot. He did really well.
He did very well. We were very excited. But in our hotel, they teased you by letting you know that there would be a Peloton there.
I love how it says by the end of 2022. I was like, it is the end of 2022.
Not yet.
I know.
Sometime in the next I think I saw them actually deliver them as we were getting
We were driving away.
Uber to leave.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, there.
There it is.
Here comes like 5 XPO vans. Sorry, RXO.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the sign that they had up at the Hilton saying that they would be getting Peloton bikes soon.
Yeah,
So,
and for those of you asking, this is not in place of the other partnerships they have with other places. This is in addition to.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, now that we've already done half the show.
Sorry.
No, it was all Peloton related. It wasn't just navel gazing on our part, but it was a little bit, but not mostly. So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
I think we covered it. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks. Keep peddling.
We have some fun UK news, some fun Germany news, new stuff added to the bike that people have been super excited about, Thanksgiving classes, holiday sales, a whole bunch of things that are happening with instructors. We have a visit from MetPro Angelo. He talks about tips for food if you're going to be working out after dinner. What should you do? And we also had a visit from Dr. Jenn, and she talked about, why can't I find her?
Getting past an all or nothing mentality.
Thank
Crystal.
you. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about at all. Why is this about me? And lots of other fun Peloton related stuff.
Awesome. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us while you're there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That's always helpful. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. As long as you're in front of your social media machine, maybe share an episode with your friends, families, loved ones, coworkers.
Please.
It's a great way to get the word out to like-minded people that they might enjoy the show. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/theclipout, where for $5 a month you get ad-free content, and for a little bit more, if you'll also, what else do you get?
Well, you get bonus episodes.
That's
and
right.
You get access to a special super duper secret group where we talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean the entire group.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
So also, if an episode's ready early, we push it out to you a little bit early. So sometimes you get it maybe the day before it comes out. That's fun for people. Allegedly. And you can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/theclipout, where you can watch these shows in HD. When we're talking about pictures, those pictures will be there. And finally, we throw a lot of links at you throughout the episode. If you want to get them in one easy to digest, you can do that at theclipout.com. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
So Peloton and Amazon have extended their partnership to the UK.
Yes, it is officially starting on Wednesday, November 16th. And my understanding is Germany is soon to come in the coming weeks. So not exactly sure on that date yet. So stay tuned.
So I have a dumb question.
Bring it.
Okay. Is Amazon as big internationally as it is here?
I think so.
Okay, I didn't know. I
don't know that every country, of course.
Well, sure. But I was just curious, is Amazon in the UK as big of a deal and as all-encompassing as it is in the United States?
Yeah, and I also think that this is good for a couple of reasons. One, don't forget that Amazon's partnership with Peloton means they buy all of the product up front.
Sure.
And two, this is good because there's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to get the Peloton any other way other than Amazon. Like they can't just go to the store and get it. They may not have a store necessarily close by. And so I think just having the ease of which Peloton delivers to your house.
There's a comfort level with Amazon, right? There's been times, not buying Pelotons, but where there's a product and I could have bought it on a different website, but I'll be like, oh, this is probably on Amazon and it's a lot easier over there. And I just go over there, boop, boop, boop. and I'm done, especially if it's maybe a retailer I don't already have an account with.
Yeah, and let's not forget the fact that they said they would expand this if it had been successful. And I know they told us on the recent earnings call that it was more successful than they had anticipated.
Right.
But this is that bearing out.
Sure.
They would not be doing this if
And
it were
that's
not.
quick.
It's very quick.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
And just in time for the holidays. Do they have do they have Christmas over there?
They do have Christmas, and I think they do not have Thanksgiving, but
No.
they do have Christmas. So, last I checked. Tom.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were different. Yes, I know that they probably don't celebrate Thanksgiving or July 4th.
Hey.
They have July 4th.
They do.
It's just not
It's a little
celebrated.
different over
right,
there.
It's just a regular day in July.
It's just July 4th.
If I was the UK, I would probably skip the 4th. I would just go from 3 to 5.
There is no 4.
No 4th over here. But no, this is great news. I think that they're expanding this program, and it also, if you had any doubts that it was working in the States, you can now shut your pie hole.
Oh, they never will.
Do they have pie in the UK? Or do they
I don't know, Tom.
do they call it something weird? It's like, no, we call it a flat cake.
They might.
They might.
They have some delightful little word usages that we do not. It's fun.
So the power zone indicator has been added to the screen.
Yes.
Huzzah.
I mean, this is a big deal for Power
No, I'm
Zone
sure
people.
it is,
It's because a lot of times these classes are kind of like you do 5 minutes here, 7 minutes there, So like you can kind of tune out pretty easily. And if you happen to tune out when they tell you to change to another zone, you just wasted 7 minutes of your life in the wrong zone. So this will be helpful because it will tell people, hey, this is where you should be.
There you go.
For Power Zone folks, this is a huge deal. They've been asking forever, like literally forever. Like as soon as they got the zones on the screen, they immediately were like, we want more.
Yeah.
And then it's been like 4 years. So bless you, Peloton engineers that made this happen. Thank you. Just so we can stop hearing about it.
So it shows you what your pacing should be. So if this works, I think you're going to start seeing women get lower back tattoos that show this.
Oh dear.
No?
No.
Okay.
Oh dear.
It's effective.
Oh, Tom.
What? This is what people want me here for. This is what 17% of the people want me here for.
You still surprise me.
So Peloton has announced their holiday sales.
They have. So you got to act fast. They end on November 28th, which is, if you're counting, the Monday after Thanksgiving. $300 off accessories with purchase of the Bike Plus, or Tread. You also can get $200 off accessories with purchase of a Peloton guide. So that is definitely a good deal.
It's also interesting that it's pretty short.
Yeah.
Like it's through Cyber Monday and then they're done.
I know. I'm curious if like Amazon will throw in a sale. Like I know they do their Black Friday thing.
Right.
But nothing's that I can find is on there yet for the Bike and the Bike Plus. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right place. I don't know.
I saw in my ads popping up, I was looking at the upcoming Black Friday deals, and Amazon had a Norditrek bike that was like $1,300 marked down to $600.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, I have noticed that a lot of equipment is on sale. Like Hydro is having massive sales.
Well, yeah. Well, Hydro announced a sale the second the rower started taking orders.
I know.
They're like, please, dear God, still buy Hydro.
Still buy Hydro.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, if you want to have every ride or every row as a scenic row, then Hydro is your jam.
Well, it does sound like people that are like super into rowing are like, well, the Peloton feel isn't the same.
Yeah, they do say that. I mean,
so I could almost see a peaceful coexistence in the same way that people still have Zwift.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that could definitely be a thing. So
I also think it's interesting, back to the sale, that they're imaging it as their best offer of the season. So basically, like, don't wait.
But it says the season, not the year. So also interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, it's the holiday season. Like, that'd be quite a game to play to come back in a week and be like, oh, but it's a new season. It went from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
No, I was thinking more like that doesn't mean the lowest it'll be ever. Like after January, it might, like, sometimes companies will put stuff on sale.
Yeah.
For, because so many people buy stuff in January for workout. But I have no idea. Like, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I just thought it was interesting wording. Usually it says companies, not Peloton. Usually companies will say our best offer of the year.
Okay, but even if they said of the year, in January, they could still do the same thing because it'd be a new year.
That is true.
So
they go on a fiscal year. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay, well, they said fiscal year. People get mad because they're like, I don't know what your fiscal year is, you weirdos.
I'm sure it means
you
the
think
same.
I am Clip Out Crystal?
I'm sure this means
and
the
she's
same
never
thing.
Waited for a sale in her life.
That's not
Why
true.
would you target your ads to her?
I've waited.
For Peloton equipment?
No.
Okay.
I mean, why wait?
Exactly.
You're only going to get $300 off accessories. I don't even want the accessories. So what good is that going to do me? Gosh, Tom.
Thank you for proving my point. And while we're talking about the season,
back to this season, which is Thanksgiving.
This season is Thanksgiving.
Not yet Christmas.
Right.
But yes, the full class list for Thanksgiving Day has been announced. So we have, you actually picked up the second one. This was the first one. So there's going to be Alex Turkey Burn Run, first time ever with Alex,
right?
Because this is his debut on the tread. Then there's a 10-minute full body stretch with Eric. Then there is the Turkey Burn Ride with Robin. Then there is a full body stretch with Ben. Then we move to Thursday on demand classes, and then there's going to be a Fit Family premiere with Jess Sims and a special surprise guest. I don't know who that's going to be, but I'm also very excited about 11 a.m. Eastern. There's a Turkey Burn Row premiere with Matt Wilpers dropping on demand. It is not a live class.
Right.
I do not want people to mishear that.
It says on demand very clearly.
I mean, it does, but that doesn't mean people are always paying attention. So don't
sometimes somebody will say like of the season, and then someone will think it means for the fiscal year.
Exactly.
That occurs.
Things can be misconstrued. So anyway, I'm very excited. There will be a Turkey Burn Row with Matt. I guess that explains why Matt's not doing the Turkey Burn Run this year, because he's rowing.
I guess. But I mean, if it's on demand, he could have taped it a week, 2 months ago.
Yeah, but they like to spread these things out.
Yeah.
So Alex is doing the run.
No, that makes sense. Peloton celebrated Veterans Day last week.
They did. They put out a few classes that happened live on the day of, and they also had several classes that were released on demand. So I wanted to make sure that everybody heard that, saw that, because there were some people that were upset because
it's a Veterans Day tradition to say that Peloton didn't do enough for Veterans Day.
It is. And I feel like there's people that miss this. And so I just wanted to make sure that they heard it. But they're also, they have an option for you to send a message of support to a service member via the link in their Instagram stories that you could do last Friday. I don't know if the link is still there.
You sounded like you wanted to take the lead on this one.
Well, I kind of did, because I saw what you had written on there and it's not really exact. Because it's like they are telling us that they added a new definition to the class list.
Okay.
So before it used to just be Encore Live, and now there's going to be Encore Live Premiere. And so now it's really kind of the same thing as a live class appearing for the first time, but it's a debut of the class on the platform. So
but they could do that with an on-demand class, right? It could be this is when it launches, right?
Yep.
You see that on YouTube where somebody will be like, this video is premiering 2 days
and actually
from now.
that is what this is, because like Cody, LOL, those drop on demand. And so they're saying like, hey, this is premiere. It's the first time you've seen this, because I think some people get a little confused on the on-demand classes when those drop, because in the past, old school Peloton was those were always an encore. If it was on demand, that was after it had already aired live, and they don't do those all the time anymore.
Yeah.
So this is to distinguish from that.
That makes sense. I guess our future selves could have classified itself under something like that if it had wanted to. And I think it also is indicative that you're going to be seeing a lot more of that kind of programming as Peloton continues to move towards more of a television network model for at least some of its class structure, which
it will
I've
continue
been
to
predicting for years.
You have, and you were correct.
Yeah. Because like Sundays with Love would fit this.
Well, no, Sundays with Love, they're live. They have always been live, but
they don't have to stay that way.
They don't have to.
Right? Like,
traditionally, they have been, but you are correct. They don't have to stay that way. But I think I remember hearing about the Cody LOL thing, and then there was another class that's coming out. Like there's another type of class that's going to be like this too, and I can't remember who it was for. And it was a few weeks ago. So there's another, one of these classes. So
right.
I think the most popular, it feels like the most popular instructors get these. I don't know if that's in my head. I don't know if that's like because those instructors have asked and it just happens to be go-getters. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see that going either way. I mean, it makes sense that you would want to, push out your more popular instructors to generate more rides, but it also makes sense that maybe your more popular instructors are more popular because they're doing things like this. So it's a little bit of a chicken or an egg.
It is. And particularly with Cody, he was on Dancing with the Stars last year, as you know. And so it's like, well, if you want to keep somebody like Cody around, you need to give him new opportunities.
Right.
Because he clearly wants to go and do other things too, because he's human.
Right.
So to keep him happy, this kind of thing needs to exist. I'm not saying that's why they did it. I'm not saying like Cody demanded it. So please do not misunderstand. But at the same time, I could see that thought process was included in making it happen.
So you know what? Coming up next is Dr. Jenn. But before we do that, here is a quick word from our sponsors.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
Joining us once again via the magic of a Zoom tube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. She also has an app called No More Diets that you might want to check out. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so Beth Apper O'Mahony, she's got an apostrophe in her name too. She is looking for some advice. She wants to know how she can fit in everything she wants to do without feeling guilty about not doing something, but then end up not doing anything at all. Oh my gosh, I've been there, Beth. I've done this.
Look, it's that all or nothing mentality. Like,
yes.
You have to come to terms with that you can't do everything. It's just not possible. And I think that it's very easy to get overwhelmed because there's so much great content at Peloton and it's constantly coming out. There are constantly new challenges and new rides and new music festivals and now there's the interviews and there's just so much. And you kind of have to go into it, I think, with kind of a different mentality of there's so much wonderfulness and I trust that I will end up in the class that I'm supposed to be in, and I will hear the messages that are right for me at this moment in time. So I think kind of taking it may sound kind of hokey, but taking a spiritual approach to kind of your workout and kind of the match of that moment and that day, I think is really important. I also think that we tend to get this way when we're a little more on the OCD side of I have to check the box, I have to complete all of that. Oh, I did that series, so I have to do all 21 of them. Even though I've done 18 and I don't feel like doing it anymore. That I think we have to be really careful, and we have to remember that we're exercising to live a long time, get health benefits, to feel good, sometimes to look good, and that when we torture ourselves by kind of having that mentality of I have to complete it, I have to try everything, you can make yourself crazy. And we want workouts to help make you less crazy. Workouts and therapy, that's really the key to mental health.
It's so true. And, the other day we were doing our long run together on Saturday and you picked that class, which I never would have picked at all, ever. And I mean, I love Maddie, so that's not it. That's not a choice. That's because it's an old class. That's why I never would have picked it. It's too far in the past. I can't go back that far. There's new things happening I got to do. But he said some really key things in that class about being part of the community that we're part of that really refilled my bucket as far as the Peloton world is and it was especially timely, kind of given everything that's been going on and some of the drama associating with Peloton. So it's just interesting that, like you said, you just trust that the class is where you should be.
And I tend to, like, once I start the class, I kind of keep one ear kind of perked for, like, what am I supposed to hear from this? Like, spiritual, like, what is the message? What is the vibe? What am I supposed to get from this today? And inevitably I get something.
I agree.
Yeah, when I use the tonal, I wear headphones and listen to podcasts.
That's okay, babe.
Maybe you should listen to this podcast and then you'll get that will be your thing.
But I've already listened. I'm listening.
Were you?
Right
No,
now.
I'm just kidding.
Different perspective.
It's more like, what spiritual message am I supposed to take from revisionist history?
There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, where can people find you?
On all social media at Dr. Jenn Man, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Man, and also my weekly column in InStyle magazine called Hump Day with Dr. Jenn that comes out every Wednesday.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Instructors in the news.
This will be old news by the time you hear it because it was made official, shortly after we recorded, I think. But Hannah Frankson is officially joining the UK tread team.
Yeah, we had talked about this last week that like they had been saying like, ooh, somebody's joining the UK tread team. Who's it going to be? And I said Hannah Frankson, and I was right. I love being right. But it's very exciting. People are very, very stoked about this. So I can't wait to take classes with her. I've been very pleased with the UK tread team, and I can't wait to check out Hannah.
For those of you missing Anna Greenberg, she has announced when she will be returning to Peloton.
She has. I don't know if anybody's watching the YouTube channel, but I couldn't help but grin when I saw this picture because it's her baby and it's so cute. Her baby is so cute. Anyway, she will be returning to Peloton on December 19th, but we will not see her live on the mat until January. So just so you know, live on the mat, January. We are excited to have Anna back.
And speaking of Anna, she was recently on an as-yet-unnamed podcast.
Yes.
Discussing her pregnancy.
Yeah, somebody asked if she could share her birth story specifically, not just her pregnancy, like her birth story.
Right.
And she said that she was going to be sharing it. She did share it on a podcast. She will let us know. And full disclosure, it was a difficult experience. So I'm sure that was tough to talk about.
Especially when it's so fresh.
Yeah, definitely.
Jess King was on Today All Day.
Have you ever heard of this?
Yes, it's the Today Show segments that don't air on the network that live only on streaming over on Peacock.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it. Well, Jess King was there and she was talking about building a family with Jill Martin. And so it was all about how her family is going to be built.
I find it fascinating, though, that like it wouldn't have been that long ago that if you recorded something for the Today Show and it only lived as a video segment on their website, it would feel lesser than, and it's feeling less and less like that every day, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the whole world. I mean, we were just talking about that the other day that like we don't even like regular TV annoys us. Like we will we stream almost everything at this point.
Yeah.
Just like really it's just Dr. Phil.
Yeah. Which we even stopped watching that.
We did. Yeah.
Alex Toussaint has partnered with Movado.
I believe it is Movado. And that is some kind of clothing line. I think
it's a watch.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. They all are wearing watches.
Yeah. And they're all standing in weird ways to make sure
so
you
that
can see
their watches.
But like once you know it's a watch, you can see it's a watch ad. But like if you don't know it's a watch, it is kind of like, what is this for?
Yeah, because I watched the little video and they were all dancing around in clothes, like
I guess because they're self-winding. So they
Probably,
gotta,
yeah.
they gotta
But they
keep
were
it
all
moving.
like, they're very nicely dressed and everything. So I just assumed it was a clothing thing. And it reminded me very much of Robin's GSTQ partnership. So that's why I kind of thought that. I've never seen Alex dress in that way. So not like it's that specifically different. It's just, I don't know. It looks different than how he dresses. And so I just assumed it was clothes.
Yeah. But no, when I look, because I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I'm glad you looked it up.
And
Why didn't you stop me before I was talking about it?
Because I like to be right about things and sound like I know stuff occasionally.
You know all kinds of things.
So, but not much for here. Normally, when I'm expressing something I know on here, I'm getting the like speed it up look from you. That's enough about the monkey that used to host the Today Show.
You go deep on the rabbit holes where there's all kinds of things happening. And I know I just made you want to make a joke. So I'll just leave it at that.
Anyway.
It's a watch.
Alex is selling watches.
Congrats, Alex.
Ebony magazine has a list of 5 new reads to savor over the Thanksgiving holiday. And Tunde made the list right up there with Michelle Obama.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool to be on a list. Your book's on the list with Michelle Obama's book. Yeah.
It's not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. Congrats to Tunde.
The website mybff.com has an article about Robin Arzon and her foray into Web3, also trying to explain it.
I also just want to be clear that this is the same company that hosted the talk on Twitter Spaces. So this is the same company she's having that conversation with. So they took that and repurposed it. But I wanted to make sure that people saw this article because I was so terrible at explaining what Web3 was. So you can take a stab at this article and see if you can come up with a better explanation.
There, it's over there. Listeners might remember a few months ago, probably at this point, Leanne Hainsby took some time off because she lost a very close friend, Danielle Hampson. And there's a big event going on for her.
Yeah, I thought this was a very cool way to celebrate her life. They are going to have an event where they're going to be sharing memories and moments to celebrate life. And it's also going to be a fundraising ticketed event for professional dancers. So what a good way to take something sad and tragic and make something good out of it.
Absolutely. And speaking of Leanne, her and Ben are celebrating 4 years with Peloton.
I cannot believe it's been 4 years.
Well, it doesn't feel like that because there was 2 years where we weren't allowed to leave the house.
I know, but it's just crazy.
Yeah.
4 years. I mean, we met them in that picture right there. We met them that weekend.
I thought that picture looked familiar. I was like, oh, I think we have I think we have a picture with them taken 3 seconds after this.
I think they were wearing something different because I think it was the day of the run, but it was that weekend. Yeah, that's so crazy. 4 years.
It's that's why it's always when there's a new instructor, just get your picture taken with them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be a big deal and you won't be able to get near them. Because nobody was talking to them. Mm-hmm. They were just kind of standing there. People were like, oh, I don't know who you are. And so we stood there and talked to them for I felt like a half an hour. Yeah.
And Ben was probably the more the less shy of the two.
Yeah.
So he was very outspoken and went live with us and everything. And man, can you believe they've gotten engaged? They've moved in together, bought a house. They've just, they have lived their entire middle years with Peloton.
Yeah.
What a weird thing to be that public and have so much of your life out there like that.
Yeah.
And it's clearly good and happy for them, but just such a strange thought,
For sure. So Cliff from Germany went and caught Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, and he was there with Jermaine Johnson. So they went together and they were clearly having a great time. I love it. I love it.
We've been following Tobias and his journey on the Manaslu Trail.
Yes.
Or as I prefer, the Manaslut Rail. And he has an update.
He does. They actually get an active recovery day and then a pass crossing day. So there's 2 days in a row that they don't.
I think it's kind of horseshit that.
I think after you've climbed that ginormous mountain, you get to go ahead and have a rest.
You just get a full recovery day.
I think.
It shouldn't be active recovery.
I thought you were saying it was shitty they were taking a rest.
No, I meant that I'm active recovery. How about just recovery?
Yeah, they're going to walk. They're going to walk to the Tibetan border.
I guess maybe do you think they're afraid that like their bodies will just like lock up if they completely let it shut down?
Well, I think it's also, I mean, it's an event, right? So there needs to be movement on all those days because you got to keep things going. Because otherwise, like if you didn't keep schedules, there would be some people that would be done right away. There'd be other people like me that would never finish. I'd just be like just carry me down the mountain. Yeah. But they get to do really cool stuff while they're there. And like I said, they get to walk to the border of Tibet and go to a village. And then they will be going over the pass crossing, and then they will continue on. And they get up at 4 a.m. on that third day. And I love this. Our mules might not cross the pass. So all of our remaining bags are carried to our staff and any local yaks we can hire. What? What? Oh, this is quite a journey. I can't wait to hear him talk about this when he's home. This is going to be amazing. I need an English version of this, Tobias. Yeah. Like, don't do everything in German. I need to hear the details. This is amazing.
And the fun thing is, the people who carry the bags are the people that didn't finish last year.
They're just staying there forever.
They're just like, that's what you got to do, loser. Eric Yeager had a post.
Nope.
Oh.
He will be, we're not doing that.
Okay.
He will be doing a meet and greet at the Berlin store on November 19th. That's all I got for you because it's in German. But I did figure that much out.
That's what we could suss out.
Yeah. I think somewhere in there you can click like
translate.
Yeah.
I didn't see it until you.
There it is. See translation.
Got mad at me for asking what the hell you were saying.
I didn't get mad at you. I showed you. I taught you, Tom. Like that says a lot about your ability to take criticism.
You taught me why you were mad.
I didn't.
You're like, click it where it says translate, dipshit.
I did not. I was typing. You don't even know how I sound. I
know exactly how you sound. How many times have we been on the phone and I've described to you the face you're making?
But I really wasn't mad. I was like, there's a translate button.
You're like, oh, is translate in German too?
Well, you were like, how am I supposed to know what this says? Well, it's right there.
Well, you sent me like 9 German.
You were like, what is this?
In a row.
That's how what is this? I was like, well, it literally says, Tom. I don't know what that means.
I don't. I took Spanish. I don't know what that means either, but at least I can fake pronounce that stuff.
Well, scroll down so I can read it to people.
Okay.
So Jeffrey posted in German, if you can't tell, that November is Movember, and he is participating, and there is part of what he's doing is growing out his mustache for the month of Movember. I think
it's supposed to be Movember, like mustache and November.
I tried to say November for real though, and then I accidentally said Movember. And if you scroll down a little bit more where it's in English, so you wear a mustache for the entire month of Movember/November to raise awareness. You walk or run 60 kilometers on his tread. That's what he's doing. And then he is going to be talking about this is all for a global community dedicated to men's mental health, the prevention of suicide, and prostate cancer and testicular cancer. So basically like all of the taboo subjects that men don't like to talk about. That's the whole point of this. And so he's going to be talking about why he specifically is taking part in it and around the campaign in the coming days and weeks. And then of course he gives people options to participate and donate as well. So Tom, you already have your mustache. You are ready to go.
I'm more than ready to go. I already got my mustache as part of a goatee. So I think it counts. I've already had a colonoscopy and a prostate biopsy.
You did.
So I've got the trifecta for Movember.
But you have not walked 60 kilometers on my tread.
So I've got the trifecta for Movember. I've done 3 of the 4.
Okay.
That's a 75%, which just earlier you were saying
I said 79%.
Was pretty good out of 100. I only missed it by 4%. I figure
4%'s a lot.
I like to think I get the extra 4% because I have an enlarged prostate. Not to brag.
All right. The whole point of this one is that Charlotte is doing a podcast, and it's her first podcast. This is a podcast with Dr. Marcus Knapp. It says he's a failed cardiologist, and he founded the podcast Hand on Heart.
That feels like an error in translation.
Sure does.
Yeah.
I feel like this is why you can't trust the C translation button. But let's assume he's a good cardiologist.
Right.
And he founded the podcast Hand on Heart. He is a big Peloton fan, and he has been wanting to record an episode with her for a long time. So they finally did that, and it is out. So she also talked about her everyday current life, and there's going to be a lot of stuff in there.
And rounding out our German spotlight...
Yes.
Mela has a new schedule.
She does. Now it's going to be kind of like more, there's going to be a routine. So Monday is going to be house music, Tuesday morning fitness, and Thursday will be rock music.
Okay.
So enjoy. I've seen all these instructors lately posting all their new schedules, and I'm like, I wonder if this is all just going to change again in January, because I think it will. It usually does.
Well, it could all change in January, but you know what doesn't change?
What?
Us having commercials. Here are a few. Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube, it's Angelo here to answer all of your fitness and nutrition questions.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Good to see you too. One of our listeners, Andrea Bettendorf Jordan, she has a question about working out later in the evening. It's usually around 8 p.m. She's already had dinner, and she wants to know, should she be eating something after her workout?
You ready for the answer? 3, 2, 1.
It depends.
So there isn't a right and wrong, Andrea. It's all about what you're trying to accomplish. So, and what type of workout you're doing. So if your workout is to develop lean mass and you want to increase muscular size and output, then probably yes, you should get a recovery meal that includes protein and includes some carbohydrates, and perhaps the snack is lower in fats for quicker uptake. It's digested faster. If your primary objective is you're struggling to manage calories and manage carbs, and you're in a battle to decrease your intake for optimal, then if you are not hungry after dinner, or rather after your workout in the evening, and you're not impaired and you're able to get through your exercise, you do not need to force it. I would encourage you to make sure you're getting adequate protein throughout the day. But the timing of protein, the research has shown in more recent years, is a little less sensitive than what we used to think. We used to think it was critical. The timing of the protein was critical. And if your performance is down, particularly for energy, timing of carbohydrates can be that way. If fuel you haven't yet consumed can't help you. But the protein window is a little more forgiving. Suffice to say, even if you're trying to build some lean mass, as long as your protein intake is adequate throughout the day, even if you don't have it within the hour after you work out, you're still going to get a positive response. So hopefully that helps. Andrea, the order of importance is determine what is your priority. If it's just muscular development, muscular hypertrophy, and strength, you want protein and carbs added in there. That's going to be your priority. If it's somewhere in between, composition and managing your weight, and your energy is okay for the workouts you're doing, if you are not hungry, don't feel like you have to get a snack, because you don't have to.
Very helpful.
That's a lot of ifs.
It was. That's why he said it depends.
I know. But even by Angelo's standards, there were a lot of ifs there.
That's why we do so much uniqueness with
That's it.
All I could think is, like, can you imagine him as a child reading a Choose Your Own Adventure novel? He's like, I'm going to go to 48 or go to page 72. I'm going to go to 48 and 72.
But you know what? From a practical sense, when people call us up, they're usually surprised to find out at how they're not way off. Usually it's just making one or two small tweaks and just some nuanced things. They make these one or two small tweaks and all of a sudden, okay, now it's working. They're progressive. They're seeing the results they want. The key is making the right adjustments.
Now, see, I was way off.
Okay, well, you're an exception. He said most people. He said most people.
Sorry, I should have said most reasonable people are close. It is fascinating to watch the little tweaks that you make that move the needle, that you would think that that's all I'm doing.
I think some people think when this used to be me. If you were to say eat some protein and carbs, like I was thinking about this when you suggested that after. See, what I would have done is have like a piece of chicken and like stuffing, and that's not what you mean at all. See, I know that now.
I mean, she still does it, but now she knows it.
But now she knows
right. She's like, I feel really bad about this.
Oh my God. Good stuff.
Makes a big difference.
Yes. Well, if people would like this sort of information tailor-made for them, where can they find you?
metpro.co/TCO.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Checking out the competition.
So this isn't technically a competitor, I guess, but I didn't know how else to classify it, and we spent all the money on the sweeper. It was
Might as well throw it out there.
It was like $35. I don't want to let that go to waste. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed. But Google Health Connect is now available in beta, and I will let you explain what that means.
It's actually not a competitor at all, because what it is so you know how you can use Apple Health to use your information from your Apple Watch over in all of your data that you get. Okay, your health data.
Right. It will aggregate all of that for you.
It does. And so Google Health Connect is a way to do that for Google, on the Google side of things.
Okay.
But specifically, they are beta testing several platforms, one of which is Peloton.
Gotcha.
That's why it's a big deal, because it's like, in theory, once this is live and working, you're going to be able to like use your Google Watch or whatever you use, and then that will pull over into Google Health Connect, which will then aggregate all in one place. Whether you like if you do Peloton and then you go do a workout somewhere else, you're still going to be able to get all of your data in one place. Does that make sense?
Yes. And there, I forgot to share the screen. There it is, just in time for us to be done talking about it.
Oh, is that what you were trying to do?
No, I forgot that I wasn't sharing it. I had the screen up. I was scrolling around. It was great.
Well, Android users will now be able to sync and get credit for their Peloton workouts in apps like Aura, MyFitnessPal, Weight Watchers, and LifeSum, Google said in a blog post.
Peloton artist collaborations.
Not one, but two new artist collaborations, both pretty big. And by big, I mean, I've heard of them.
Yeah. I learned that I barely know any Carly Rae Jepsen songs.
I just know the one song that made her famous, Call Me Maybe. And then she did was Tom Hanks in a video with her or something?
No idea. No clue.
And then, but I think she's got a really big following and is very successful. It's just,
we're just not the demo, just like so many of these other young artists. Yeah, I took a Carly Rae Jepsen run today, and I knew not very many songs, and it was with Camila Ramon, and she was like, these last 4 songs, they are so good, and you're gonna know all of them, and they just get better and better. And then she played Call Me Maybe, and I was like, okay, maybe I really will know these. And then I didn't know another song. And I was just like, wow, I am really out of touch. That was my takeaway from that.
But this is probably right up your tween girl alley.
I cannot stand NSYNC.
Okay.
I do not like boy bands. I know this is very unpopular, and I'm getting booed and hissed and yelled at right now, but I didn't like, who was the other one?
Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, didn't like them.
98 Degrees?
Didn't like them.
O-Town?
Not any
New
of them.
Kids on the Block?
Nope.
Why do I know so many of these?
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Who? Boy bands? I don't know. The Beatles? Do they count?
Yeah, didn't like NSYNC, didn't like any of this stuff. Is this that's Justin Timberlake?
Don't let
right?
Andrea Barber hear you say that.
I know. Is that Justin Timberlake?
Yes.
Okay, very young. Just.
Well, yes,
did like.
he started in this.
I know. I did like Justin Timberlake when he went on his own.
Yeah.
I did like that. That's all I got for you.
Okay.
But I know, like, people are completely ecstatic for
they're
this.
huge. They were huge.
This is a huge thing, and it's me. I'm the problem.
Yeah.
I just didn't like boy bands.
I think I benefit from the fact that you don't like pretty boys who can move.
It's true.
I would be shit out of luck if that was your jam, man. Like, I would be no climbing that hill.
Well, they just announced this one today. So Friday, the classes start Friday and Saturday, I believe.
And before people at me, okay, this isn't where he started. It was technically Mickey Mouse Club.
That is true.
I know people are going to come at me for not saying
Do
that.
people ever message you? I feel like they just message me
when I
and
get
they
a pop
say,
culture thing wrong.
Oh, I just thought they just messaged me. Tell Tom.
Oh,
That's
okay.
usually what I get.
That
Tell
counts.
Tom.
That's worse. Because now I'm getting yelled at, and they got my wife to yell at me. That's worse.
Well, usually the tell Toms are very nice things. Usually they're like, I found this monkeys thing, and then they tell me to tell you.
Yeah,
or they got your
different.
joke and they tell me to tell you.
Yes.
So that's usually the tell Toms.
In case you missed it.
Not one, but two new collections for people if you're into the apparel.
Yeah, this one was a mini drop. So it was like a navy camouflage, and it's reversible. Mixed reviews on the fact that things are reversible. I don't know. I thought that this was a very cute print, but I did not buy it because I have bought enough clothes. Ooh. So I didn't buy it, but it is very cute. Mini drop. This one was just like 4 items in, out, done.
Gotcha.
Then we moved to this week, and there was a whole bunch of stuff that dropped for the holidays, like a lot. I also didn't buy anything. You're welcome.
Peloton birthdays.
And finally, we have one birthday this week coming up on November 22nd. Don't forget to say happy birthday to Bradley Rose.
Happy birthday, Bradley Rose. And your little dog, too.
Now you sound like you're threatening him.
Oh, I didn't mean it to
Like
be
you're a
threatening. He just
wicked witch.
He always has little like Instagram videos of his little dog, and he's always making faces. He's got like a very plastic face, like it's like very stretchy.
Expressive?
Yeah, that's the
Is that
word.
the word you're looking
That's
for?
the word I'm looking for.
Is that the word you're looking for that doesn't sound like you're insulting?
I don't mean it to be mean. He makes lots of different expressions.
Gotcha.
So yes, very expressive face, and he's always making faces at his dog. So that's why I said your little dog too.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Carolyn Holdsworth. Hey, Carolyn, how's it going?
Hi.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Crystal. I'm great. How are you guys?
Good. So good to have you. I love whenever we get a chance to have a fellow podcaster on. You can always tell because they've got the microphone.
The audio just
The
instantly
audio
sounds
sounds
better.
different.
Yeah.
All the better to hear us with.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So Carolyn, when did you originally come across Peloton?
So I've known about it for several years. I'd probably say 5-6 years at least.
Yeah.
But it was when my knees started bothering me from too much running that in early 2020, I sat on a spin bike for the first time and was like, oh no, is this what I'm going to have to do forever? But then I kind of started to like it, and I ordered my bike. I think it was in late March, right before lockdown.
Oh,
Good. Got lucky.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, the timing was perfect.
Did you have a moment where you're like, should I flip this?
Oh, I'm not that smart. I should have thought about that. Yeah, exactly. No, I the timing was completely fortuitous and a big happy accident, a big something that changed my life. I have drunk the Kool-Aid, and oh my God, it's everything. I'm one of those people.
Oh, well, it's okay. You're in a safe place. I am one of those people too.
I love it.
So what made you decide that you were keeping? Okay, so obviously the knee injury got you on the spin bike, but then that didn't hook you in. What got you? What made you drink the Kool-Aid? What simplified or crystallized the deal?
Yeah. So as I said, I gave it a shot in a group exercise class as an alternative to running on the treadmill, and started taking classes with Cody. Cody was recommended by a good friend of mine, Lori, who's here in my hometown, and she had raved about him, and it was his non-intimidating, humorous, kind, I shouldn't say humorous, hilarious, side-splitting personality that got me hooked, because I really didn't know what I was doing. And I was just on it for fun, and I had no idea what the numbers meant. And I was just doing something to move while we were all in lockdown. And he just, I laughed my ass off, and I fell in love with him. I fell in love with Peloton. And if you look at like my first 6 months, it's all Cody rides every day. That's all. Literally. I pretty much seriously didn't know there were other instructors. I mean, I knew, but I'd never even tried them.
You were like, whatever. So they don't exist for me.
Right. Yeah. So he hooked me in.
So now you said you ran before. Do you ever take like the Peloton tread classes or like outdoor classes and run or like walk? I realize that your knees may not be up for running, but take those classes.
Yeah, I take everything now. And because of riding the bike for a couple of years, my knee has gotten a lot better. I now have the Peloton tread, which I go to.
You rehab.
Yeah. I'm really in the fold here. So I'm back to running and just loving every component of the company. I do tons of strength classes, big power zone person, lots of stretching, which has been the biggest game changer for me. I don't do a lot of outdoor because I have these options here. Yeah. But I do everything. I really maximize it.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. If you have the tread, you don't need to leave your home. You have the tread and the bike, you like never need to leave ever.
Right. But the cool thing that I've done, which has kept me going, because I'm a big accountability workout person, is I have a group of friends and we all work out together. There's 9 of us total, and it's 9 women who used to work out together in group fitness at another company where we had to leave our house. And when lockdown happened and those studios closed, we started working out together, and we created a text thread and all caught up. And those who, people, it didn't start out with 9 people, started out with, 4 or 5. And then the group grew as everybody bought their equipment, and they're my people and they're my partners. And there's a couple people that I actually do FaceTime strength workouts with 4 times a week.
Oh my gosh.
In the basement here. Yeah, we're wacky, but we love it.
No, that's the way it goes. I run every Saturday with Dr. Jenn. She's on our show every week. And awesome. She and I started doing our long run together. And we used to use the little camera on the tread, but they turned that off. So now we FaceTime the whole time we're running. It's ridiculous.
I love it. I think it's, I get it. My friend Sammy and I, we FaceTime our strength workouts. We've done total strength 2-3 times together, and we do the splits together, all the different split programs. And I love it.
So what do you think when people talk about Peloton and how, it was just a pandemic thing and all these people are going back to the gym and yada, 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 the spiel that everybody says. So what are your thoughts on that? Because it sounds like you were in the exact opposite of that. You and all your friends.
Yeah, we were, gym devotees. We were big Orange Theory people, honestly. And I've done a lot of personal training in my life. But once I tried this, what's so great is you have the sense of community that I crave, the sense of community that I was getting from group fitness and the other places. And you have it here. Even if I wasn't FaceTiming during a strength class or like you do with your runs, I feel that I'm not alone. I've got that accountability. I've got those buddies like May and other people who I see on the rides. And it sounds so weird, but it gets me on the bike or it gets me on the tread or in front of, the screen to do a strength workout. So that's what's kept me. And then it's the variety of classes. It's truly never ending. And the education. I've learned how to be a better runner. I've learned through Matt Wilpers and Power Zone how to ride the bike. Cody got me in, and then Matt taught me how to ride, really. Yeah. So it's just so much education and information.
Isn't that interesting how you can go from just riding for fun and then there's like this tipping point that you hit? Yep. I feel like there's stages of Peloton, and one of the stages is now I want to be an athlete, and there's something about that training and learning about it that like makes you feel like such a badass athlete.
It's so true. It's so true. I got my sister hooked on Peloton too, and she had never been a big worker outer most of her life. And once she retired, she got a bike and became a Power Zone person and is stronger than ever at age 66. And
wow.
Yeah, you feel like a jock. You feel like you're an athlete. And even if you're not, they're supporting you as if you are one, as if you're one of them. It's so, the positivity is overwhelming. I need it. And it starts my day off in the right way every day.
So every day you work out every day?
I usually take one day off. I try to get a blue dot every day. Even if it's a meditation like the other day. But I'm trying to take more rest days. It's tough for me to do that because mentally and emotionally, I really need the sweat. But as Adrienne Williams just reminded me the other day, take a rest day. And, my body does need it. My knees need it. I'm not 25 anymore.
It's good. Yeah.
So you had mentioned that you've become a Power Zone fan, and that's a far cry from I like the funny ha-has of Cody Rigsby.
It is. It's so, like polar opposites.
Totally.
How were you radicalized?
How was I what?
How were you radicalized?
Radicalized. I loved it. Well, it was one of the girls in my Peloton pack that said, let's do this Power Zone ride. And I had no idea what that is or what. I didn't know what it was at the time. Gave it a shot, and the endurance rides killed me. And then Power Zone Max, I was, bowled over. But then I just kept doing it. I was doing the Wednesday live classes every morning, and that's where I would connect with May, who I knew here in real life as well.
Oh, you live in Philly?
I live outside of Philly. She used to live really close to me. And so we had a mutual friend. I've known her for like 16 years. And yeah, so I would always see her on the Wednesday morning mat rides and the Saturday morning live rides. And so those live rides created that accountability for me. And just, Tom, doing it over and over again, I started to get into a groove. I understood it. I paced myself. I stayed in the zones, and it completely changed the way I ride the bike because it built endurance, literally, stating the obvious there. But now I can do so much more because of those. It trains you.
It does.
Yeah.
So how do you balance Power Zone with your other rides and your other content?
So since I got the tread, I have to say it's like, the new kid on the block now. It's getting a little bit more attention than my bike does. I've been paying a little more attention to the power walks, which are really, really great for my joints. And man, oh man, your heart rate goes up quick. You sweat like a mother, and it's a lot of fun. Maddie is my favorite there. Maddie and Rebecca.
Love Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie is the best. He's the best.
He just has such a bright light.
He really does. And I love his music. He's got the best taste in music. So I balance it. I probably do, I'd say 2 to 3 tread a week, 2 bike max, and then strength at least 4 times a week now. That's really changed my fitness a lot, is the strength.
Good for you. So was it your friends that said we need to add the strength in? Was it you that said we need to get the strength in? Like, how did you start that?
It was my friends. Once we all had our bikes separately, and then we came together as a group. A couple of my friends were really exploring the app and exploring all the different categories of fitness. And these girls are a little bit younger than me, and they're a little bit more fit. And they've truly been athletes, and one of them really was a serious athlete at one point. They just taught me, and so I just followed the lead. So I'm a bit of a sheep when it comes to, inventing what I do over the week. But it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Every now and then I choose something, but it's hard to beat their choices.
No, that's great though. I mean, honestly, isn't that what it's kind of all about when you're not an expert on something and somebody else is trying things, and that's how you learn new things. So
absolutely.
That's fabulous.
Absolutely.
Who cares how you got there? It's great that you got there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a blast. It's literally changed my life, and I could talk about it all day long. It's so great.
Okay, so I'm curious when it comes to the Power Zone and doing your cycling classes. Do you have like your go-to instructors? Because I feel like, as Tom said, like Cody and Power Zone, very different, very polar opposites. So I'm very curious about your favorites in Power Zone and non-Power Zone.
Absolutely. So favorite in Power Zone is Matt Wilpers. 100% all day, every day. With all due respect to the others, I've taken all the other instructors and their Power Zone classes. He's just my guy. I love his temperament. I love his education. I just feel supported. I really do. It's kind of an emotional connection that I have with him. I love it. And he keeps me coming back. In terms of other instructors, Andy Spear is my guy. He has changed my body in terms of strength. Total Strength 1, Total Strength 2. I can't say enough great things about them. I love those programs. I love the stretching components before and after. His personality. I love a big personality. I love the big Cody. I love the big Andy. I love Alex Toussaint. I love the big personality. And Andy just brings it. And he's a goofball and he doesn't care and he doesn't take himself seriously, but his form is perfect. His body's inspiring. His music's great. So yeah, he's my guy.
That's awesome.
Love him too.
And you said you really like Rebecca too. And I mean, they're a couple, so I guess they have, they kind of give out that similar energy, right?
They do. I love her. Her core classes are great. Her power walks are amazing and so challenging. Her body is so beautiful and she's so strong. So strong. I also love Adrian Williams. He's really, really one of my favorites. I guess those are my favorite strengths. I'm a big Emma Lovewell fan too. She's somebody that just calms me down, but don't sleep on her rides. I mean, she will kick your butt.
Yeah, they're sneaky, like you said, because they're calm, but she's like amping up that energy. It's like it's energy, but it's like this like quiet energy, as opposed to like some of the instructors that they'll go big and they'll go like loud, and it's a very different vibe.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. And I love her music.
And you can't beat her.
Taste.
You can't beat her core classes. Like, I mean, those are just the best.
Crush Your Core. Yeah. Love it. I love all the programs. I love them. They just make it so they dumb it down for you. You don't have to think. You just follow it and do this day one. I just love it. It makes it so easy. And with the 5 minutes, 10 minutes here and there, you can always fit it in. There's never an excuse. Yeah. And once I do one after a ride, let's say I'll find myself doing two more. I'll then do a Tunde arm class or I'll add on another stretch. And before you know it, I've done another 45 minutes of exercise on top of my ride or my run. And it didn't even feel like it, and my body's, more balanced because of it.
That's awesome.
So you have this big fancy microphone there because you have a podcast. So tell us about your podcast.
Oh, thanks. So it's a new podcast. It's called Glow and Tell. And you can find it everywhere podcasts are, Spotify, Apple Music, all those. And it's inspired by what I do for a living. I happen to own a spa for a living. I've had this for 17 years. It's my second career. I was in the business world for the first half of my career life for about 18, 19 years. And I'm a skincare junkie. I'm an esthetician myself, in addition to running the business. And I've tried, it feels like every product out there. I've had problem skin myself. And for years, I've just been asked questions, for 17 years, how do I fix this? How do I handle that? What about this service? What about this product, this device? And people kept saying, you should have a podcast. You should have a podcast. So I'm giving it a shot. We'll see if people, dig it and if it's helpful and informative. But at this point, I'm just having a lot of fun. So Glow and Tell.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of fun.
And that's good too for, like with you having the other business that it can generate clients for that. So like you have different ways, to make that useful as well, besides just trying to get big enough to have ads or whatnot.
Absolutely. Yeah. The ads thing is not even in my head. If that happened, that's such a happy surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really about, just getting correct information out there, because with social media, like any industry, there's a plethora of information. So many people don't know what's real, what's not, whether it's about fitness or skincare or diet or what have you. And, fitness and skincare and, physical health, inner health, it's all one, we're all one big system. So on the program, we talk about all the different things that can create your glow, so to speak, glowing from the inside out, outside in. And we did have a fitness component a couple weeks ago and talked a lot about, we talked about macros, but we talked about the right way to do a squat and, calorie counting and, great circulation is the number one thing to help fight lines and wrinkles. The more circulation, the more, protein, amino acids, collagen production is happening, and you're going to look better in the end, not just feel better.
You'll look better in the end, and your end will look better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully.
I think you might be interested in Stacy Sims, and she talks all about like as you get older and go through perimenopause and menopause, how like our muscles contract differently because of the way that our hormones are. I'm not going to go into a deep dive, but I'm just saying it's like.
But she can.
I can because it's like super fascinating to me because, like you said, it's all one, right? And so as we get older, those like our ability to contract a muscle literally changes because our hormones have changed, and therefore we need to start doing different kind of lifting and different kinds of training on the bike or running and things like that. And I feel like that has to do with, like you said, about like it all goes together, and I just feel like it's fascinating. Just might be something you might be interested in learning more about.
Thank you, because I'm actually that demographic and I'm in that moment, and my body has changed a lot in the past year, and I'm technically in menopause. I'm 53, and it's different. You know, my body's different. The way I work out has to be different. So I get that. And I know who she is, but I've not listened to her or read. So I'm excited. So thank you for recommending that. I'll totally check her out.
Yeah, she's absolutely fabulous. I have a huge girl crush on her. I talk about her all the time.
Oh, I love it. Good. She must be awesome then.
I'm also curious, and I have no idea if you've ever seen the show on TV. This will show you how little I know about estheticians and like all the things that you can do. But there was a show called Skin Decision, and I was kind of obsessed with it. It was on Netflix, and they would like, it would be like surgery versus like things that you could do in the office that were non-surgical, and they would help people like fix things they had going on with their skin or their body sometimes, and then they would like figure out, is this the best way to do it? Is it best to do surgically, or is it best to do with like non-invasive ways? And so I didn't know if you'd ever seen that show and if you had thoughts about whether or not they gave good advice. I was just curious.
Unfortunately, I don't know that show, but I think it's an amazing name for a TV show. Skin Decision is great. But no, I'll definitely have to check it out. And that's a really hot topic is, you know, do we want to cut something, or do we want to do an injection, or we want to do something topically at home? We talk about that on Glow and Tell as well. And it's a question we get every day. And there's a lot of, you know, there's many good options. There's many paths to achieving what you want. You know, doing topical treatments at home, it's going to take longer. And you may not get where surgery is going to get you, but you know, there's improvement that can be had. So there's something out there for everyone. But I'll check out the show.
Yeah, I was just curious because it was the first time I had watched anything that like made me less scared of spas, and so it was interesting to me because prior to that, my perception of any kind of thing that you went to, you had any like injections or anything done like that it was like, that's bad. Like that was just my overall my perception of it. And it educated me a lot. So it kind of opened my mind to, it doesn't, I mean, yes, you can take things too far, of course, but like there's a lot of things that you can do that aren't super invasive. And so that was the first thing I had ever seen that was like, that showed me that. And I think it's really cool, all the things that spas can do now that you can like go in and have, like you said, there's like things that are helping people, but that aren't, you don't necessarily have to cut, you know, to be able to do. And I just think that's amazing.
Of course. And technically my spa, which is called Nurture Spa, we're in New Hope, Pennsylvania. We're not a medical spa. We do have a plastic surgeon that visits us a couple times a month out of Manhattan, but we are a more traditional luxury spa, massages, facials, non-invasive treatments. So I am definitely in that camp with, 95% of my life. And yeah, there are so many things that you can do that will make you feel better, look better, that aren't going to hurt at all.
We like not hurting.
We like the not hurting.
Big fan.
Yeah, same here. I'm with you.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun.
So how long is how long have you been doing your podcast? You said it's new.
It's brand new. We just finished our first month.
First month. Congratulations.
Thanks. I mean, yeah, it's super brand new, but I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's weekly. We record it live and then it streams the next day, and it's a lot of work, but it's fun work. I love the creative outlet, and it's pushing me in different ways. So I'm digging it. It's really cool.
Well, what do they say? Like 80% of podcasts don't make it past the third episode. So you've already done
it. Look at that.
Well, thanks. So, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There are scary podcast stats out there. We've heard them all. Like something like, oh my God, it's like the top, I think to get in the top 10%, you like, it's like what is it, 1,000 downloads a week or something like that. And like,
oh my gosh,
like that means that like most podcasts never see those kind of numbers. It's like a huge number. And so many people have pod fades. Wow. So many people. It's just, it's tough. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is a lot of, I'm surprised. It's way more work than I thought it was going to be.
A lot of people think you sit down and you talk and you're done.
Right.
And they think, and then once you actually start doing it, you're like, wait, especially if you want to do it properly.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it beyond just the part people are hearing right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. People have no clue.
Yeah.
That's true.
They don't. We didn't. Like we thought we had a clue,
and then we had no clue.
And then and especially as it grew, and then it was just like, and then it turned into like a job, like another, like it went from a part-time job to a full-time job.
Yeah, literally, it's like we have 2 full-time jobs. But like you said, it can be so rewarding because you develop these relationships, and you're able to. Yours is obviously a little bit different because you're solving problems for people in a way we are not solving problems. We're having conversations.
We try to create problems for people. That's our goal. Yeah.
You guys get a lot of good info out there to us. I mean, some serious, which we all love.
Well, thank you.
All the details. No, I love it.
Well, we try, but it's a very different kind of beast, but it's neat to get into the details. We went to Podcast Movement this year, which is the first year we've done that, and it's like a big podcast convention, and it's like I think it's the largest in the industry.
I believe so. Yeah.
And it was just fascinating to see all of the different things that are coming out in the market, all the editing tools, all the new. I mean, it's wow. It was just it's a lot. It's really cool.
Where do they have that? Is it LA, New York, or?
So this year it was in Dallas, and next year it's in Colorado. So it moves around.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then they have one they do like in between.
It's called Evolutions.
And that one seems to always be in LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the big one seems to bounce around.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Let us know if you end up going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I will for sure.
Or if you're looking for a smaller one, which
yes. Oh my God, you'd be perfect for it.
Where we went our first year is called She Podcast, and it's for female created podcasts.
Yes, it would be so perfect for you.
They don't have any male speakers. You don't have any of that. You don't have any of our bullshit.
And the whole point of it is because like these larger ones, which are also amazing. We're not talking it down, but when you go, sometimes women kind of just are taking a back seat at a podcast convention because it's a very male dominated industry. And so She Podcast flips that. And so it's all women speakers. It's all women, like all women hosted that are there. It's really, really cool.
When we went, I think there were 2 other men there besides me.
Yeah.
Like it was that we're doing things. Like, it was. And
it's such a supportive atmosphere. Like it was really, really intensely amazing.
It's a great way to get your feet wet because it's a little bit smaller. Like Podcast Movement can be intimidating. It is like massive.
It's
Okay.
And
it's overwhelming.
Well, I'll check out She. I'll check out that one for you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. Sorry, we got way off in the weeds there.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
So, what is your leaderboard name?
Oh, it's so boring. I need a better one. It's really lame. It's Ms. Carolyn, just capital M, little s, Carolyn.
You need to, if you want to change it, and I don't think it's boring, but if you want to change it, you should think about some kind of spa thing. Yeah. You know?
Well, that's what so many people suggested, but I didn't want to just be like the spa girl because that's only one part of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to work on one because it's just lame. Yeah.
I don't think it's lame, but I do think you need something a little snappier for that shout out. We got to get you something
Here
snappy.
we go. I think I got one.
Oh, I'm scared.
Oh, gosh.
No, this is a good one.
Okay.
Why is everybody looking at me like I'm going to say something bad?
Because you make jokes all the time.
Ready, set, glow.
I love it.
That's really good.
Oh, my God.
That's why I said it. That's what I do.
You might want to sign in as soon as we're done recording and see if that's there.
Yeah.
And try to grab it.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody else. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it might already be taken, but it just with the name of your show, it seems.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. That's really good.
I like
That's really good.
Well,
I've only gotten one shout out in my Peloton career, but it was nice. It was in person with Andy when I was at the studios.
Oh, that's nice.
I think in studio is the best. Like in studio is the best. So you just went? You must have gone recently.
I just went. Yeah. I went with two of my friends from here that I work out with, Sammy and Tracy, and we all had milestones, and we did a 30-minute hit run with Andy. Woo! Woo! That was
that is
intense.
brave of you to do a hit run in studio. Wow.
Yeah, and these girls are runners, and I'm just barely keeping up. I just didn't want to jump the rails. That was my whole thing. Just don't stop. But it was a blast, and it was my 100th run, so I'm still a newbie at the tread. Yeah. Thanks.
Congrats.
Thanks.
That is very, very cool. I'm so glad you got to celebrate that in person.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you
I'm
were
just happy
so
to run and
lucky.
not hurt.
You're so lucky to live nearby that you can actually just like go do that.
Pop
Like
up
it's
there.
a whole thing because we live in Missouri, so it's a whole thing
It's a
to come
trek.
all the way there.
And you guys were there not that long ago.
Yes, yes, we were very, very fortunate to go, and then I actually got classes. So who knows when the stars will align again.
Yeah. We're trying to get back in for more classes. As you probably know, it's really challenging. They release classes, it seems like Monday at around noon our time, and we're jumping on, and it's tough. I hope they open up more classes.
Did you
in
see
the near future.
that they are releasing classes tomorrow for Thanksgiving? So if you want to do the studio rides on Thanksgiving Day, they're posting them noon Eastern tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
Thank you for saying that. And I saw that Alex is doing his turkey burn tread.
Yes.
That's going to be, I saw on his Instagram his tread run.
Yes.
With his incline.
Yeah.
I don't
his
even
tread classes are tough. I mean, come on, Alex. Like I thought when you would transition from the bike to the tread, you'd
baby
be
steps.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a little easier, but no.
There's no baby in his stepping.
He was like, I'm going to kill you all right now. Okay, let's go.
I know.
All right, let's do it.
I love him so much. Oh my God, I love his classes. Talk about motivation.
Yeah. Well, that could be a thing for you. Maybe you can go.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Do you have any advice for people just entering the world of Peloton?
And entering the world of Peloton?
Yeah. Just people just starting out.
Do something every day.
Oh,
do
that's
something every day, even if it's a 10-minute stretch, even if it's a meditation. Do something every day. You're just going to feel better, and don't be afraid to try the different categories, the different fitness categories that may not be your regular go-tos. If like I'm not a big yoga person, but I've done some yoga, and it's better doing it in the privacy of my own house because I don't feel like an idiot when I can't move the way other people truly. And so many of so much of the exploring that I've done in the different categories, I've built confidence because I'm not doing it in a public setting. And my advice is just do something every day, even if it's 5-10 minutes.
I think that is excellent advice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good way to build a routine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's 21 days makes a habit. I think it's something like that. If you do something 21 times, and you'll get to the point where it'll fuel you emotionally and mentally. And of course, it's a great outlet. It's a great sweat if you go that route. And just do something every day.
Awesome.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We really appreciate it. Before we let you go, just remind everybody where they can find you. I'm
your
assuming
podcast.
you would like to be found because you've got things.
Yeah.
I would love to be found. And thank you for having me. This has been such a pleasure. My Instagram handle is my first and last name, Carolyn Holdsworth. The podcast is Glow and Tell, and it's everywhere podcasts are found. And Ms. Carolyn, or maybe soon to be Ready, Set, Glow.
Hopefully. So right now, I hope there's not someone who that's their leaderboard name, and right now they're sitting there looking at their phone being like, nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh.
You're Ready, Set, Glow too.
Too late.
I'll tell you that.
Too late.
You could be Ready, Set, Glow Philly.
Right.
Or
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know. We'll have to do or spell it weird or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And thanks a million. So
and
fun.
I know you mentioned a couple of times that May, May. And for anybody who's listening who doesn't know who that is, that's May on the leaderboard. May Sarkoff.
She's the best.
Yes, she is. Oh my God. She's just a delight. That lady has done like so many amazing things. Like I could listen to her tell stories all day.
For sure.
Yeah, she's an incredible human.
She is.
Incredible human. And a big motivation.
Yes. Very inspirational.
Well, thanks for all that you guys do. So exciting, so cool. Love having you in this world. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. That is very kind of you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
The Clip Out. Clip Out. Clip Out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and the Peloton leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our YouTube channel, youtube.com/theclipout. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling.
And rowing. And running.
You finally got to say it.
Yay!
Clip in.